lost in the world of Tooth and Tail.
All right, it's A-okay. It's A-okay. We are talking now to one of the main forces of Star Power Comics. This is Star Power has an active Kickstarter right now.
Yeah, we're in the last 2 days. I'm a dummy and I can't count. I've been promoting like crazy. Today is the last day of the Kickstarter. Today's the last day. Tomorrow is the last day of the Kickstarter.
Okay.
But drama on a Monday on the internet. No one seemed to notice.
Yeah, throw it out there.
I was dramatic enough, and I typed "final day" in all caps when I was promoting it on social media that no one seemed to have noticed. Like, hey, there's actually like 33 hours left in your campaign. Today is not the last day, dummy.
Hey, no, you got the couple people that weren't paying attention. You had to rush out.
They
Like,
did?
oh man, I gotta get my hands on.
We got a bunch of pledges today for the last couple of days of a Kickstarter, whether it's funded or not, and ours is funded. So. And we're very, very grateful for that. But even so, like we've got a bunch of pledges today at the wire.
Good for you.
And we're very, very grateful for that. Yeah.
Nice. All right. So for any of our listeners who didn't check the pre-show literature, I want to give them a heads up on what Star Power is.
I mean, I can do my elevator pitch if you like.
Go right ahead.
All right.
Elevate away.
All righty. Well, Star Power is a webcomic that I write. My friend Garth Graham, he's the artist for it. His work is second to none. It's a sci-fi superhero space adventure. It updates new pages every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at starpowercomic.com. It's about an astronomer on a space station in the far future who gets granted the star power, and that lets her become Star Power. Now she has to figure out where the star power came from, what the hell's coming after her now, and why, and what happened to the rest of the galaxy. It's pretty classic take on like the sci-fi superhero thing. Like we weren't trying to rewrite the book on what it means to be a sci-fi superhero or go in any new directions with like the basic concept. But we think we've added our own ingredients to the traditional recipe.
Well, you don't want to toy with this stuff. It sounds like you're going for a post-apocalyptic tale of triumph and discovery.
Not exactly.
A utopian tale of macrame.
We took
and social studies.
We were very, very inspired by the Foundation trilogy by Isaac Asimov. And if you don't know the Foundation trilogy, one, it's a cornerstone of science fiction. Highly, highly recommend it. Great read. But in the Foundation,
like 50 Shades of Grey. I know, dude. You want to talk good literature?
Oh my god.
Yeah, historically, that'll be taught in textbooks.
But in the Foundation is the last vestige of civilization for a galaxy that's fallen to barbarism. Star Power takes place in our version of the Foundation, which is called the Millennium Federation. And now that Star Power has the Star Power, the rest of the galaxy is this post-apocalyptic, barbaric mess.
The wastes of
the galaxy.
Yeah.
It was a huge galactic empire. It was crazy, and it fell apart in a giant war. But it never reached the Millennium Federation. So the Millennium Federation is what it is. It is this. It's a sci-fi utopia. But beyond the borders of the Millennium Federation, where the Star Power came from, everything is a mess. So in our story, the Millennium Federation doesn't need Star Power. They got things under control, like Galactic Defense, who's their police force. They're good people. They are a competent police force, not really corrupt. Again, but
I'm okay. I see you write high fantasy then.
It's science fiction. It's escapism. I don't like to subscribe to an apocalyptic future. I remember when I was a kid, science fiction was always, the sci-fi I saw was hopeful. Our future was bright and shining and gleaming, and we all had jetpacks, and we could fly, and we had, everything was better. And
it's retrofuturism. The past visions of the future
are the better ones.
Somewhere around the early 80s, that was just completely out the window because Mad Max became cool. Yeah. Every Paul Verhoeven movie takes place in the darkest future imaginable.
And it's very prevalent today. Everyone thinks the future is going to be this rusted mess, and it probably will be.
Yeah. To be fair, all you have to do is turn on the news.
Yeah, no.
And you know what? There is evidence.
So I wanted to make this world you wanted to escape to, not you wanted to escape from. I wanted to go back to that science fiction and that superheroism that I grew up with, the kind that gave you hope, that kind of made you like, I want this power because it seems amazing. Not, I don't know what it means to be a hero. maybe I'm really a burden. And people who write those stories are very good at writing those stories. But that doesn't mean I have to write those stories. I have no interest in that overwhelming, overbearing darkness.
I like that.
Not saying those stories are lesser. There are people who can write those stories and they do them very well. But I can't do it. I can't do it.
No, Dean Koontz is garbage. Okay, let's just put that out there now.
I want to write a story where there's a light in the dark, and the light can actually pierce the darkness. It's not a futile light. It's an actual, like, oh my God, we never had hope before. Now you're here and you're bringing us hope. Hey, wait a minute. This is what superheroes used to be like. Oh, hey, this is actually kind of fun.
That's not a thing that happened. They were never like that. They've always been dark and horrible and gritty. Ever since comics started back in 1984 with the Punisher. No, I do. I really like that. It's less of a. It's less Flash Rogers. It's less Flash. Thank you. It's less Flash Gordon, more Gordon Bombay. I was gonna say Flash Gordon Buck Rogers, but maybe that's an outdated reference.
Well, I think maybe. But we have Google. People don't get it. They can look it up. Like Flash Gordon, who the hell's that?
Or you can Bing it.
Or Bing it.
Yeah, we're not doing that. But no, I dig that though, because like you said, apocalyptic future is the way things have gone for the longest time. That's been the more prominent vision of the future in most of the science fiction I've been exposed to, and I've always liked. You really only see it in older fare too. I've always liked. Those visions of the future that show everyone's going to wear like these spandex pants because they're aerodynamic and they fly. They all have jetpacks. They all have ray guns and fins on their helmets and stuff. They all drive cars that have little rings around the exhaust.
Yeah, in the early iterations of Star Power, before it was Star Power, Garth really wanted to do that old school like fishbowl helmet. Like ray gun adventure with like everybody's spacesuits had like the superhero emblems.
I love that stuff.
I thought it was great, but I didn't think it had enough staying power for me to write it. Like I could do like a storyline, and then we're done with that storyline. I have to do this again. So Star Power had more legs for us.
Okay, all right. You want to give us a bit of a rundown of the typical Star Power story?
Sure. Well, let's see. Well, I can give you a summary of our first 4 storylines, actually, all of which have been kickstarted into books, which you can buy off of our website, starpowercomic.com.
Want to give it one more time? Herb coughed over the
promo there. The website where you can read Star Power completely for free. Everything we've ever done is starpowercomic.com. Cool. We started with Star Power in the 9th Wormhole. That was kind of the origin story. She gets her powers in the first 6 pages, and we just hit the ground running. Like we didn't mess around. We're like, you guys know you're here for the superhero stuff. Page 6, superhero.
Nice.
And just go. So it's a lot of her playing catch up in the first one, like discovering that she is now the last of the star-powered Sentinels. What the hell is coming after her now, and why?
You are the only one that remains, and on the horizon, the creature's coming to get you.
Exactly, yeah. We wanted to keep it simple. Again, we wanted to keep it simple. We'd never done sci-fi superhero stuff as creators before, so we didn't want to try rewriting the book on how to write a superhero story. So we just kept it simple.
I like that. We added a couple origin stories left and right. Like, let me get to the meat of it.
Yeah. So in our second, the 9th Wormhole is Star Power learning that the 9th Wormhole invasion is coming now that the Star Power has returned, and learning that there were 8 others before that, and that's kind of how the galaxy around the Millennium Federation went to garbage. The 8th Wormhole invasion was the one that killed all the star-powered Sentinels and destroyed the Galactic Empire, except for the Millennium Federation, which it never reached.
Okay.
The second book we did...
I hear good things about the 6th Wormhole invasion, so...
That was the party invasion. They tried to keep things light.
Yeah, the 7th one, they were posing, man, giving Indian burns and stuff. Not really doing any... If Star Power and the 9th Wormhole was our Star Wars in its tone, Star Power and the Search for Black Hole Bill, our second story, was kind of like The Empire Strikes Back. We slowed things down significantly so we can finally learn a little more about the characters who've all been given these powers. That was more of a character study, and also a hunt for a bad guy who escaped from the first one. Star Power and the Mystery of the Zelgux Dynasty was our adventure. It was a planet hop. It was a... Oh, sure. And the Mystery of the Zelgux Dynasty.
Oh, I like that. It was much better than I could do. That was our planet hopping adventure. There was no looming bad guy chasing them. There was no threat on the horizon. It was just trying to solve a puzzle. and they're trying, and it's a major revelation about the nature of the star power and the Zelgux who created the star power.
Okay, was any of your influence like Tintin or those early?
I think unconsciously.
Hmm.
The Indiana Jones movies, any of the '80s adventure movies where like it's a treasure hunt
All right,
or like a
that's what I
mystery hunt, something like that.
That's what I'm hearing here, because the whole thing sounds like Doc Savage in space type stories. You know?
Yeah. The book the storyline we just finished up, which is the Kickstarter that's finishing up tomorrow, is called Star Power and the Lonely War, and that's star power going beyond the borders of the Millennium Federation for the first time and realizing just how bad things are outside of.
It gets real.
It gets real because she's seen combat and she's seen battle, but she's never seen war. And she's a civilian. She's an astronomer. She doesn't have any like combat training. She was a star nerd who was given the ability to go out to the stars. And now, guess what? You're responsible for trying to fix this. And what's this? It's a really complicated war. Good luck.
Nice. Oh, yeah,
so it's a real test.
Journalism.
And if you don't uphold the virtues of the star-powered Sentinels, there might be a problem.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right.
And we've just started up our 5th storyline. I say last week, 2 weeks ago. Star Power and the Choir of Dr. Him.
The choir is that Dr. H-I-M or like H-Y-M-N?
H-Y-M-N.
Nice.
But we've already played like, I'm listening to the new. It's one of Him's new choir works. Like, no, his choir works. No, I didn't say hymns. I said him. But
hymns.
Exactly.
It's one of hymns.
It's one of Him's hymns.
Hymns.
We're going to be doing that for the entire storyline.
I'm okay with it.
Cool.
Throw those at a curve of, I guess, comedy or just abject annoyance, which is it's
abject annoyance is comedy for some.
For some.
If you're watching somebody else getting slowly annoyed, it's hilarious.
If you can nail down the Tim and Eric crowd, I think we'll be all set. Somebody pays those people, Herb. You believe that? All right. So one time, let me get a hymn.
Ooh, I like that.
What, I'm alone in this?
Yeah, no, I know, man.
Back. Let's. Dr.
Ooh,
Him.
Man.
All right.
Ooh.
A little bit of a harmonizer there.
All right. No, that was for you, audience. Those eargasms came courtesy of Star Power Comic. You can track them down at starpowercomic.com, and you still have time to give into this latest Kickstarter.
The Kickstarter, if you search on Kickstarter, Star Power and the Lonely War, or hell, even just Star Power, that's the one that comes up.
All right, awesome. Michael, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Hopefully we can have these guys back on to get an update on Star Power once it's a little farther on down, see how the heck that hymn situation went down. I'm trying to get another hymn pun.
I know, right?
It's not coming to me. All right.
Okay, it'll come to you. Probably after we go off the air. Like, you're like, oh, I got one! And then we're all at home.
How it always happens. It'll be next Thursday or something.
I got one.
No.
I don't think you want it, though.
Uh-oh.
You know what? Go for it. We're already in the weeds.
Oh. No, it was really bad. You don't want it.
Well, now that you've set it up so much.
Dude, we are live. You are teasing.
Well, all right, it wasn't really a hymn. It was more like...
You've built it up so much now. It could have just been real quick. You could have just ripped off that Band-Aid, but no.
Well, for him...
Better be good, Johnny.
It wasn't as harmonic. Sorry.
You know what?
It's good, though.
Hymns was less harmonious than him.
I applaud the effort.
I'd have said hymn was less harmonious than hymns hymn was intended to be.
When I was writing the script, Garth, the artist for Star Power, he wanted me to make Dr. Him's assistant, whose name is Karina. He wanted me to call her like Herr Karina, so it'd be him and her.
Herr Karina, that's tragic.
He wanted that. I was like, I had to shoot it down. I'm like,
no, that is a good call.
It's good, but like, I don't want to do that for 5 issues, Garth. I can't do it. I can't.
It's too much.
Also, I researching what Herr means in German. That means that's like German for Mister.
Yeah.
So I remembered Young Frankenstein, wherein like the assistant was always calling him Herr Doctor. I didn't know she was. Just like, oh my god, she was calling him Mr. Doctor like the entire movie. That's really funny. Herr Doctor.
All right, I knew
like
that.
Mr. Doctor.
I never thought about that specifically.
It makes that little bit of young Frankenstein that much just a little bit funnier now. Like she's calling him Mr. Doctor the entire movie.
Maybe there's an Eddie Izzard bit somewhere here that we're missing. All right, but we're nearing the end of our hour here. I'm going to close out with a